this new air conditioner I got is really awesome, and it turns the living room into a refrigerator. And Brahman and Regan are always freaking cold, but I love cold, so I'm really looking forward to summer ending.
Really? So you would actually prefer winter over summer?
Oh, any day. I love winter because you can wrap yourself up in a blanket.
Oh my God, I hate winter. It's so bleak and depressing.
Whereas in the summer, you can't do anything if it's hot. If it's too hot, you can't take all your clothes off. Get arrested.
Air conditioning, we're lucky that we have it, you know?
Yeah. And also, I mean, the bills have been lower too because it's a brand new air conditioner, but it's really powerful, and the electric bills aren't as high as they usually are. I wanted to wish you a happy birthday because I know your birthday passed recently.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
And how old are you?
Well, let's just say I'm old enough.
Wait, I got a question.
Yeah.
When you were born, were the Beatles still a band?
Yeah, I think they were.
Well, I mean, it just sort of leads into this discussion because a friend of mine died this year. I believe he was 49 or 50, and he just sort of had, I guess he had a blood clot that led to a heart attack in his sleep, and he just died. And nobody was there. He was by himself. So
where was he living when this happened?
Oh, he's in California, and the person who found him was his housekeeper.
Was it within?
Probably, I'm gonna say the next morning. So it was and the thing is, and then before that, I had another friend who died of cancer, and he was 49, I think, at the time. And I'm just, I see so many people dying at early ages now, and it's kind of, it's kind of unsettling. I wonder if there's something going on. They all tend to be Generation Xers like you and me. It seems that either we're not taking care of ourselves or something is happening to this generation. It seems like these people are dying. It's very strange because it was only a few years back, and you see the baby boomers are still out there, and they're still thriving and energetic, and they're in their 70s and they're in their 80s, and they're living full, active, energetic lives, and they seem to have good health. I feel like our generation is not as healthy.
I've read some studies where they've talked a lot about cellular technology and cell phone towers scattered around, dense proliferation since the early 2000s. I don't think it's good to be so close. I mean, there's a lot of EMF radiation that's coming off of those if you're very close. And they say, oh no, if you're far away, it's safe. But some people have, these towers are all over the place. They're even in your...
Do you think that cell phones themselves can be a danger?
Well, there's electromagnetic radiation if you're holding up to your head all day, or if you have it in front of you.
Yeah.
It's not just cell phones. There's also the fact that everyone has a laptop on their lap, or you're sitting in front of your computer all day. Look at the statistics. As you just said, the baby boomers, the people who are in their, 70s now?
Yeah.
For the first 30 or 40 years of their lives, they were not around cell phones. They were not around computers. They weren't around microwave ovens. There is that component to it that makes me think there could be a correlation between the cancer rates have gone up many times.
I have read that too, and I've read that this 5G technology, this 5G network they're trying to set up is going to be even more dangerous. I've heard that too.
The transmissions are much more powerful, right? There's a lot of electromagnetic radiation. There are a lot of radio waves. Even if they're in a very, very high spectrum and they're deemed to be safe. Who knows? I remember there were studies done in maybe the 1980s where they weren't sure if breast cancer was higher for people, especially women, who are living close to power lines and power transformers.
Yeah, I'd heard there was a story of a community in Long Island where all the women developed breast cancer.
Yeah.
And it's when all of them do, and some men too. Men can develop breast cancer too.
Yeah.
When that happens, it's not a coincidence anymore. It's information. It's data. It's research. I believe this might have had something to do with electrical power plants that were out there.
And then we could talk about our food supply. We are eating more processed foods these days than what people were eating in the 50s and 60s. There's just been an increase. Even if
when you're figuring, the population gets bigger, you have to come up with more efficient, economical mass production of food.
Yeah.
And I guess sometimes the only way to do that is to process it.
Right. I just saw there was a great video about centennials. That's someone who lives to be 100, right?
That's right. Yeah, you sent me that video and I looked at it and blew me away. Actually, it's just
the woman. One of the women said that she grew up. Everything they ate was from their garden, essentially.
Yeah, yeah. This was these people were like around during war times, and they had their own little victory gardens, stashes of food and stuff. And sometimes they didn't even have food. They had to figure out how to, grow the food themselves because it was all going toward the war effort and stuff like that. That video was amazing. That video was absolutely really nicely done. Amazing to me because the younger generations always tend to have some kind of disdain for older people. And they're not even aware of the kind of experiences that they went through. I mean, this one woman, it broke my heart. I mean, she outlived her husband. She outlived her children.
I know.
And she was just there, and she had this very kind of, jovial outlook on life. She
said she was lucky. She said, I always knew I was a lucky person. And yet, she had twins. She gave birth to twins. They died.
Yeah.
She had another daughter that died. Her husband died. As you just said, she outlived everyone. But just to lose her twin babies, and yet she still says, oh, I've been very lucky. I mean, it's that mindset. All these people seem to have a positive state of mind, a little bit of a sense of humor, a levity. There was some kind of joy.
Yeah, they all seemed pleasant. They did not seem angry. They looked as though they had never experienced this horrible anger that a lot of people have nowadays. They didn't experience hate. They just sort of lived their lives. They lived their lives, and they probably did not have expectations that exceeded anything, any kind of reality or whatever. They weren't living in a fantasy land. They were just sort of living their lives, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's how you live. Maybe that's how you have a long, productive, prosperous life. Is just letting go of hate and letting go of anger. Also
envy, as you just said. When you're in this day and age, especially for a young person growing up, they're completely bombarded by images and messages on social media of how certain people, celebrities, or even their friends are living these sort of exceptional lives.
Yeah,
a skewed perception that's fed to us through social media, not just social media, through TV, news.
Everything, the media.
Yeah, the media. And that, you need to have a lot of money. You need to have a lot of stuff. If you're successful, then, happiness will be the next stage. But there are other ways for people to be happy. And as you just said, if you could just kind of appreciate where you are and just the fact that you're alive and that you're able to experience things and feel things, and we have our senses. Sometimes when I'm feeling really down, I just say, okay, let me think of just 5 things that bring me joy. It could just be watching a movie, or playing some music, or playing the drums, or talking to a friend, or reading a book. And that's enough for me sometimes. It could create a mood shift.
All right. I think that's it. That's the best place to end it. It was perfect.
Sending me a Valentine, birthday greetings, bottle of wine. If it were now till 2:45, would you lock the door?